Hello again. Now in this short video, we're going to start off where we left off last time, with the palette in order. And what we're going to show you is how to paint an undercoat on glass. And as I said before, the whole purpose of these short videos is to show you how we use the palette. So we're going to paint the undercoat on a light box, not on a piece of glass. Of course there's glass on the light box, but you know what I mean, we're not copying a design. And we're going to do it 4 times. Twice with the light box on, twice with the light box off, with the light off. And a good number of things to look at. We want you to watch, obviously, how we prepare the paint on the palette, how we load the brush, how we apply it to the light box, and then how we blend it. And at various points in the video, we'll stop and talk about those things. Now, the whole idea of painting an undercoat is that it gives you a wonderful surface on which to trace. So that's why we suggest that you really practice until you're good at painting an undercoat. And here we go. Now look at that. That little bit of dust in the paint, which is just getting rid of. You see those marks that we're leaving? This paint isn't very wet, is it? Because when you paint through it with your brush, the lines stay. And you can probably hear a little scraping sound as well. That's beautiful, that.
Okay.
So all this time, we're doing 2 things. We're mixing the paint, and we're loading the brush, whilst also keeping the brush in shape. Very important. Here we go. Look how it goes on. And blend it. So it's quickly done. That's the first one. Wipe it off. Load the brush again. Get those little bits of dust off. See again how the brush marks stay in the paint. So there isn't that much water on the palette. Here we go. Get the blender. And as needed, just remove any unnecessary marks. Now, there you see the motion in David's arm. Wipe it off. Switched off the light box now, so we'll show you 2 times without the light box on. Notice how we just dip the tip of that brush in the water in order to load it, because it's amazing how quickly a brush soaks up water. You really don't want the palette to get soaked with water. See those marks? Now the only reason we've turned the white box off is so that you can get a better sense of what the paint is like. David was just removing excess moisture from the brush there. All the time the brush has got a beautiful shape. Get the badger. Look at that hand movement and wrist movement and arm movement. Wipe it off. A little bit of extra water. Just dip the tip in, no more. You can always add more water, it's complicated to remove it. Mix it all up. Keep the shape of the brush at the same time. You're mixing the paint, loading the brush, keeping the shape of the brush. Now look at that mark. I've just stopped the film there so that you can see those sort of zigzags when you do them. If they keep the shape, that's a good sign. I'll just pause it there. See how beautifully shaped the brush still is. Because all the time we've loaded it, we've kept the shape of the brush. That's very important. That's a key to getting a good undercoat. There we go. And then the blender. Now, it's very difficult to show you this, but the blending is actually vigorous. So just paused it there for a moment. Look at the way in which the blender really makes contact with the paint. And here we go. It's sweeping all over the place. David's changing direction as well. Got to go at it from all angles and remove any marks that you don't want. Now he's just drying it here. He's not blending it anymore. You see that undercoat drying very, very quickly. And of course it has to be absolutely dry before you go on to the next stage of using a tracing brush and painting on top of it. So you've seen how we prepare our palette for painting an undercoat. The paint that we mix up on the palette. How we load our brush. How we keep it in good shape. How we apply the brush. And how we blend it. Very important things. And when you're working alone in your own studio or workspace, it's such a good use of time. Instead of rushing ahead with a design and a piece of glass that you want to decorate, instead of doing that, to spend 30 minutes, an hour, however long, practicing strokes on your light box, as we show you here. It really helps to allow you to concentrate on the paint which you're making on your palette. Without good paint on your palette, you can't do the brush strokes that you want. And in a sense, if you're working on a design, you're always thinking, I want to get this design finished, I want to make it. If you're working on the light box, you really concentrate on the paint on your palette. So until the next time, bye-bye.